Hi everybody, BionicDance here. I've actually got two videos I kind of want to make today on different subjects, and I think this first one I'm going to make is going to be about my YouTube career and the YouTube atheist scene. You see, I've been at this for roughly 5 years now. It's been a little on and off, and my calculations might be wrong, but I seem to remember that my very first video was back in like 2008 or something, which actually would be 4 years since we're in 2012. But regardless, point is that, my math aside, the fact is that I've been at this a while, and I've got more than 800 videos up. And I've got a few that are privated, mostly because they used copyrighted music and I couldn't bear to delete them, but they're also, not something, I mean, people could flag me for that shit, so those are privated. But point is that I've been at this a while, and I've been making the same arguments over and over and over, because you kind of have to. The way I see it, the religious have been making the same arguments for literally millennia. For more than 2,000 years, they've been making the same arguments at people. And we're only just now scrambling to catch up, we atheists. So we do have to make the same arguments a lot, just to convince people. Now, hopefully it'll take us less than 2,000 years to convince people that we have a point. But it still means that we do have a lot of headway to make, that we still have a lot to bash our way through if we're going to get people to see our point. Whether they agree with us or not, that's a different story, but it does seem a lot of the time as though when we make a point, a religious person will either deliberately distort it or not understand it because, well, they have these preconceived notions that they're trying to filter our point through. So it's going to take us a little while to build our numbers and to make our argument, to have people hear it and all that stuff. So I can understand, and I hope you can understand, why I would be willing to do all of this repeatedly. 5 years, 4 years, 800 videos, the same frickin' arguments over and over. But at the same time, I have to admit that YouTube has gotten, I don't want to say boring exactly, but it kind of has. I mean, I've been saying to people for a while that I feel the YouTube atheists kind of need a new enemy, in a way. Now, I realize that sounds belligerent and shit, but let me explain. In the early years of YouTube atheism, there were also a lot of theists around. There's not nearly as many as there used to be, and they're not nearly as active, and they're not nearly as entertaining. I mean, does anyone remember Venom Fang X in Joker makeup, flipping the fuck out? Does anyone else besides me remember that? 'Cause, man, that was entertaining. Do you remember the various battles back and forth between us and him? Do you remember a fellow by the name of Big Jerry? Do you remember, like Jesus Freak and all of those guys, Together for Peace? I mean, some of those guys are still making videos, but not as frequently and not as entertainingly. For a while there, being a YouTube atheist, it was kind of a blast. But now, I surf to my inbox, and most of my subscriptions, like most of the videos I'm seeing in my subscription box, are from the Young Turks. And yes, I do watch the Young Turks, but the point is that the YouTube atheist scene is really slowed down. Either I'm not subscribed to the right people, or we really have slowed down like I think, because either way, I'm not seeing many atheism videos. Not anymore. And, I mean, there's quite a few people out there. Take Coughlin, for example. He's been talking about the EDL for quite a long time. He's not making, religious arguments, atheist arguments like he used to. And there's lots of other folks like that where it's just like, what happened here? Have we as a movement fizzled? Of course, I don't like to think of us as a we exactly. I don't even like to think of us as a movement necessarily, because honestly, I mean, I don't want to engage in cliches here, but putting atheists in a group is kind of like herding cats. And then we've got this whole Atheism Plus thing, and don't get me started on that shit again. Point is that a lot of atheism is not like a conglomeration. I mean, there's some, But I've said repeatedly that I think the only reason for atheists to gather is in self-defense against theists, pretty much. I mean, if theists are going to tell us our religion says X, Y, and Z, so you all have to do X, Y, and Z. You know, if they say to us, well, you don't believe in God, so you're evil, you're the devil, or in league with him, or any of this stuff, you know, you're immoral, all of that stuff, well, you know, it helps if atheists gather together to say, no, we're not. But suppose the entire world were atheists, except for like tiny little pockets of theistic belief, you know, that still existed or that was cropping up here and there, you know, but for the most part, everyone was an atheist. Well, would we gather in the name of atheism? Would we feel that need for community? Is atheism our only attribute that might make us gather together? Because I don't think it is. I mean, you know, I tell people that I'm a left-handed adopted multiracial lesbian atheist. I'm all of those things. I'm a Star Wars fan. I mean, come on, you've seen the tattoo. You know, I have so many other things I'm into. And atheism is only a tiny bit. So there isn't really a reason to have an atheist community unless theists are getting snarky in our direction, as far as I'm concerned anyway. I mean, because what about not believing in a God could possibly make people gather unless it's in self-defense? That doesn't make any sense at all. So while I'm disappointed that there doesn't seem to be as much of an atheist community on YouTube as there used to be, and then there's the conflict of I don't think that there should be an atheist community to begin with except in self-defense. I mean, it's all so weird and contradictory, but my point really is that at times I feel like one of the few holdouts, one of the few people still arguing about atheism on YouTube. And yesterday I made this video, and I found this guy, this theist dude, who'd made an argument, and it seemed like something I could argue against. And so I made like a rational, reasonable, you know, like calm video where I just took his points, refuted them, or at least argued against them, and let it go. And I got a lot of people telling me that they loved that. That they felt like it was the best video I'd made for a while, which doesn't really tell me much because I hear that every couple of videos. But the point is that a lot of people felt like it was a change of style for me, and I have to admit I've been trying to engage in ponage more, where I find some idiot and just let him have it. And here I found someone who was clearly not an idiot. I just thought he had his ideas wrong, and so I had a reasonable discussion. But, well, I don't feel like I meet his type anymore on YouTube. I feel like we as atheists have taken over YouTube, that we've won the YouTube battle. But, you know, there is a whole world out there. But if it's not on YouTube, well, you know, I need to find a way to be able to download it and make the arguments point by point. Either that or I have to make their points for them and then refute them, which is kind of a pain in the butt and kind of clunky as far as video making style is concerned. And I did go to film school. I know a bit about editing, so you know, there are ways I prefer to make a video that just make more sense as far as someone who's getting their message across to the audience. But like I say, I don't see that anymore. Usually I see people like Ray Comfort or Ken Ham or any of those guys, you know, where they're not going to respond to me. I'm just some voice in the wilderness, some, you know, unimportant pipsqueak that they're not going to talk to. Do you think Kirk Cameron will make a response to BionicDance? I don't think so. So, you know, it's just, it feels like there's not as much to do on YouTube as an atheist. Now, like I say, I feel like I'm one of the last holdouts, and I kind of feel like I don't feel obligated exactly, but I mean, I want to keep making videos, you know? I want more, so I guess, what am I trying to say here? I'm asking, I suppose, for people who know other folks I should look at, other folks I should respond to in a calm, rational way, who might respond to me, where we can have a dialogue, where we can have a back and forth. Does anyone know a reasonable theist who will make replies on YouTube? If you do, please tell me, because those are the videos I'd like to make. You know? Like I said, this is about my YouTube career. That's what I want to do. Now, this video has been unscripted, and I don't know if you've noticed the difference or not. Some of my older videos were definitely scripted. I tried to make my delivery sound as natural as possible, but they were scripted. This has just been a frickin' ramble. But that is my ultimate idea. That I would love it if people would say, here's a theist that you should discuss with. Not pwn, discuss with. And let's see where it goes. So I thank you in advance, and until next time, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please think. Please take the time to rate this video. And hey, if you dig what I do, subscribe. And please visit my Zazzle store, where you'll find all kinds of BionicDance merchandise. Don't wait. Rate today. Operators are standing by.